whenever we're willing to step in, and it requires vulnerability, but vulnerability, to Yaden's point, requires having a safe space to do this. We can't really get vulnerable unless we are in a safe space. And I think a safe space helps cultivate vulnerability. I know I can lean in here. So that's the why, because it serves us in our journey, and it can serve as a proactive measure. It can help to kind of release some of that pressure, some of that tension. And if the opposite of addiction is connection, maybe that connection is exactly what we're needing at that time. Welcome, brothers, to today's episode of the Recovered Dad podcasts. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Matthew Sinkovitz. I'm here with my co-host, Yaden Smith. We call him Detective Yaden Smith.
Let me put my detective hat on. There we go.
When he goes in detective mode, puts his hat on backwards and looks for the clues. Brothers, we appreciate you joining us here today for another episode of the podcast. Today, we're gonna dig into a recovery principle that I learned early on in my recovery journey. And this recovery principle is a bit of a muscle that we get to build.
There we go. I'm all about the muscle, right? Let's build that muscle.
Need I say more?
Strength training.
I've been in the gym myself, as you know, been feeling good there. This I want to give you guys a concept that was given to me by my first sponsor when I started doing works in Sex Addicts Anonymous. This old OG gentleman who came from a lot of 12-step work. He had a background in AA and NA work, and just one of those dudes that just speaks and lives and breathes recovery. And the idea I want to share with you here today speaks to our episode title today, and that is get in the habit of telling on yourself. Get in the habit of telling yourself. Like, who wants to do that, right?
That sounds tough, man. I'm not sure I'm down for telling on myself.
That's it, man. That's it. My early sponsor, I'll say his first name because there's a lot of these guys in the world. His name was Will. His name is Will. And OG recovery dude, and just had one of these guys that just every other sentence was a recovery, you know what I mean, tag. He was he always had something, really good to say, a lot of good wisdom. And he said, get in the habit of telling on yourself. And I was like, man, who really wants to do that? Over time, I began to recognize it is a muscle. But the more we practice this muscle, the more it ultimately serves and supports us in our recovery journey. So I want to dig into this concept and what this really looks like in application here today.
Oh, I'm glad you're digging into it because, I'm not sure about this yet.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can convince you.
Okay. All right.
I'm
willing to be convinced.
Yes. Well,
right.
I'm willing to do that. And here's what I want to give you today. I want to give you the why, the what, and the when.
Okay.
All right. Maybe through that, I'll be giving you the how as well. Speaking of the how, in 12-step recovery, the how is made up of honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness.
Honesty, open-minded, willingness. How?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that is required for success.
Worth the price of admission right there. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. So we will give you the how today, but it is true. I mean, that is a lot of what a recovery is. Requires honesty, right? Open-mindedness, a willingness to look at new ideas, look at other ideas, to challenge concepts maybe that we're living with, and willingness to make the change, right? So let's start with the why here today, guys. So why would someone want to tell on themselves, right? Inside the liberation boot camp, inside the Recovered Dad community, I think we've got a framework. We've built it very intentionally. So we've got a framework and a system to tell on yourself more frequently, right? We've got, daily check-ins through our Voxer chat, right? One of the, you might say, requirements or assignments when a man comes through the Liberation Bootcamp is a daily voice check-in inside the Voxer chat, inside of our private community, because we want to get men in the habit of using their voice, of speaking up, on being visible, right, of connecting with other men. Because whenever the pull to use or to start acting out or nibbling around the edges starts to really come online, that's typically when we don't want to be visible, when we don't want to be seen, when we don't want to reach out, when we don't want to connect, when we don't want to get support, right? So we want to build the habit and the muscle of daily check-ins. We've got a couple calls a week, right? So we've got a lot of opportunity to practice and utilize this muscle of telling on yourself. And the reason we want to do that is because we want to get visible. We want to get visible, right? We've spoken a lot to this concept on the episode, and that is that the sunlight is the greatest infectant, right? Getting visible in this journey is such a powerful exercise, right? We have this slogan that we work with so frequently that says, "Shame dies when stories are told in safe places," right? So can I bring my shame? Can I bring my stories? Can I tell on myself, right? If I feel like I'm going to act out or if I have acted out, right? And the idea, guys, is that we don't have to carry this alone. And that's why we're in community, right? Mm-hmm. And we can also, so we're still on the why, we can also utilize this telling on ourselves as a proactive measure. Now, maybe you can relate to this, Yaden, right? I know I can relate to it. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling fatigued. Those emotions are percolating, right? The thought to maybe start nibbling around the edges, or maybe I should just get on this social media channel or that social media channel or this video tube channel. And hey, I'm just going to get on here and surf around. And usually it just starts.
I'm not going to look for anything. Right. I'm just going to maybe check the headlines, see what's going on in the world,
Right. I'm just on a little dopamine. That's really what I think it is. I'm just looking for a little hit. Just give me a little hit, right? But what happens, I think a lot of, in my discovery process, what I've identified is there's a lot of addiction is a dopamine addiction. Because that's often where it very often starts off, isn't it, guys? Like we're scrolling maybe, right? We're looking here, we're looking there, and it eventually goes to
and it's like, oh, she's cute.
Exactly. Click.
I bet she has one. Let me check. Like you know what I'm talking about out there. You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
One of those other channels. But so what's the why? Why would we want to tell on ourselves, right? We want to tell on ourselves, guys, because when we get visible, when we speak to what's going on, when we allow what we typically hide to come into the sunlight, when we do tell on ourselves, right? When we connect and get into community with other men, whenever we lean into our community, right? It serves us in our journey. And a lot of times it can take the air out of the bubble, right? It can kind of help, it can open the safety relief valve a little bit. It can let some of the pressure out of what's going on inside of us. It can just add a little bit of visibility. It can add a little bit of camaraderie, like, hey guys, I'm struggling right now. And sometimes just connecting, just allowing ourselves to be seen, right? Taking that proactive measure can so often support us in this work, either before, during, or after an acting out episode.
You know, Matt, I think about the times where I have felt so alone in the fight, right? Before I ever found recovery, growing up, being in youth ministry, being in Bible studies, right? Like it didn't even feel safe to say, man, I really, want to look at.
Yeah.
Like I really feel the pull to go there. It didn't even feel safe to say that.
Yep.
When in hindsight, like I guarantee you, every man at the Bible study on Thursday morning knew what that feeling was like.
Yep.
I was not alone in that feeling. And one thing that I've found in, telling on ourselves is like somebody has to go first. Somebody has to go first to create the safe space to let somebody know this is a safe space to bring this without judgment, shame, or guilt.
Requirement.
Right?
Yeah. To have a safe space. And speaking of that, Yaden, I feel like you modeled this very well. I mean, I can think of several instances where you've been in the chat like, hey guys, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling fatigued. I hear that voice. It's talking to me loud, right? It's telling me to just go click around a little bit, and I'm calling it out now, right?
Click around and find out. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But it's true though, guys. Like whenever we're willing to step in, and it requires vulnerability, but vulnerability, to Yaden's point, requires having a safe space to do this. We're not going to be vulnerable in a space that doesn't feel doesn't feel safe, right?
Because we have to protect ourselves.
Exactly.
Right.
I would even argue like we can't really get vulnerable unless we are in a safe space. And I think a safe space helps cultivate vulnerability, right? I know I can lean in here. So anyway, so that's the why, right? Because it serves us in our journey, and it can serve as a proactive measure. It can help to kind of release some of that pressure, some of that tension. And if the opposite of addiction is connection, well, then it can maybe that connection is exactly what we're needing at that time, right? We had a brother checking in the chat 2 days ago. I saw him, and he leaned in and said, "Hey, had a fight with my wife this weekend. It's still lingering, and I'm feeling the pull today." Right? Beautiful. Checked in, got support, got seen, got heard, got connected, brought it into the sunlight. Right. So that's the muscle, guys. It is a muscle. Going back to our daily check-ins in the community, we got to build that muscle, because whenever we're feeling that pull, sometimes we don't want to do that. So we practice like reps, daily reps. Right. Okay. So that's the why. The what, as I mentioned. What are we checking in? What are we checking in? We get to check in, I think, again, before, during, and after. And we'll speak to this a little bit later. Ideally, we check in before. Hey, guys, I'm feeling the feels right now. I'm feeling anxiety today. I'm feeling fatigue today. I had a fight with my wife today. I'm feeling pressure from work today. I'm feeling the financial pressure. Hey, there's a lot of chaos and noise in the world. I'm feeling a lot of fear today. As Yaden mentioned in our last episode, right? So often when we go to, it's not just a sexual thing. It's we're looking for release. We're looking for pain management, for emotional regulation, to deal with what's going on inside of us. And it's our tool. It's our pill, right? It's always right there, right? So we can check in the feelings. We can check in the thoughts. Hey, the thoughts are running. I'm feeling the thought to want to click around a little bit, to nibble around the edges, to just maybe check out this site. Maybe, could you guys relate to this one? I'm not going to like act out, but maybe I'll just like click around over here a little bit and just see what's there, right? Typically, acting out, like going to inner circle, that's where it starts, man. It kind of starts innocently, just looking for that little hit. But that's the nature of addiction. That's the nature of this dopamine thing. It's like once we get on that train, it can turn into a runaway train.
It's like, I think of the Lay's potato chip slogan, like, bet you can't eat just one, right? It's like, I'm just going to have one potato chip, right? A potato chip, like bullshit.
Right.
You are not just going to eat one potato chip out of that bag, bro.
Right. And there we are bringing in the food, sex, money dynamic. It's like so much correlation, right? The same urge or instinct or impulse that causes me to want to reach for is very often the one that causes me to want to reach for the Snickers bar or the Doritos. I'm looking for a hit. It's dopamine. It's dopamine related, right? Okay. So I'm feeling the feelings. I'm having the thoughts. Here's one that I check in frequently. Kind of spoke to Yaden's check-in last week. I'm in the middle circle, right? I'm feeling tired today. I had a long day at work. I'm feeling stressed out. Maybe I'm not feeling a strong pull to go to, but I'm in the territory where those signals start to come online for me. I just want to check in that I'm not doing great.
Yeah.
All right. We at the beginning of our work, we define our circles, and this is an idea that we borrowed from the SAA community, right? And we defined like what sobriety actually looks like for us. And for me, the middle circle, it can look like activities, but can also just look like states of minds or emotional states, right? Here's like, I'm just not doing too great. And I know when I'm not doing too great, that's when I start sometimes looking for that low-hanging fruit, right? So we can, go ahead.
Matt, sorry, I was thinking like when we're feeling not great, I'm thinking back to the last week's episodes, where like, when we're not feeling great, that is one of those choice points.
Yep.
We can either keep it to ourselves, and most of the time, man, we don't even realize we have a choice.
Yep.
We're just like, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to appear weak.
Yep.
I don't want to, And we have a choice to share what's going on, share our truth, or keep it to ourselves.
Yep.
And try and deal with it all by ourselves.
Yep.
It's one of those choices.
That's it. And so again, going back to my earlier point, we practice the muscle of checking in. We practice the muscle of leaning in, of visibility, of connection, because when we need it, then the muscle's there, but also the relationships are there. We've got the trust. Like, hey, I've built relationships with these guys, right? And now I can lean in because I trust them, right? This community. We get to build that for ourselves. Okay, so before, there's the during, right? Hey guys, I am in the middle circle right now. I'm in inner circle right now. I want to course correct. here's what I'm going to do, right? I got into the weeds, right? I got off the tracks today. I want to speak to it right now. And here's the couple steps I'm going to take. I'm going to close my computer. I'm going to delete this thing. I'm going to close it down. I'm going to reinstall my software. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to get out of the house. I'm going to take a nap, right? I'm going to course correct right now. That can feel extra vulnerable personally, right? I'm going to expose this part of me it's kind of like almost designed to be hidden, right? It's like the DNA of this that we deal with. It's like made to be done in the darkness. It's kind of like exists in the darkness. So to bring it to the light is some work, right? That's part of our recovery. Or maybe it's after, guys. Maybe it's like, hey, I acted out. I went there. The deed is done. And we've got two choices. We can hide it, cover it up, tuck it down, try and save face, try and preserve our image. Or we can just say, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to carry this by myself. I don't have to carry this shame around and allow it to perpetuate and grow this burden. I can just bring it to the community. I can bring it to my brothers in this journey, and I can just lay it at their feet, and I can let it go, right? And I can tell them myself in that way. Here's what happened. Again, it's so amazing when we bring this stuff to the community. Especially, I think our community is very special. The culture we've created here, we just bring it, and there's really no reaction. Just like, okay, and what are you going to do next? It's really beautiful. But before, during, or after is when we can tell on ourselves, right? There's no right way to do it, but like the willingness to lean in and say, hey, here's what's real for me, either pre, during, after is such a powerful element to this idea.
Yeah, man.
Right. Okay, so that is the what, and then the when, right? The before, during, after, right? And we can do it in a proactive way, as I just mentioned. We can share like when we're actually in the weeds. We can course correct, right? We can step into the community, and I like to think of it as like shame dumping. Hey, I've got all this shit I'm carrying out, and I just need to lay it at your feet. I really feel like it in my journey when I have been able to bring this sort of thing to the community, to other communities I've been part of. It feels like a form of repentance. Now, I'm really careful about that because we can bring in our religious, baggage with that and be like, oh, I've done enough repentance in my life, or I've been told to repent enough of my life. But I do think there's something so valuable in being able to it's like confession. I can see the role confession like plays. It's just like I can bring this to a confidential place, in a trusted place, and I don't have to carry this by myself. I can share it. I can lay it at the feet of my brothers or the feet of God or whatever language you use. And then I can walk lighter, man. I don't have to carry it around because I've got this story that I've got to kind of hold this shameful, this shameful thing or act around with me by myself, right? So it can happen. We can tell on ourselves at any given point in the journey, right? Yeah. Always valuable, always helpful.
So that's the when.
Yep. That's the why, the what, and the when.
The right? Why, the what, and the when.
Right?
Yeah.
So we touched on
love it.
Why we would do this. We touched on like what it is that we can share, and we touched on when we can do it, because it doesn't always have to be like preemptive. It can be reactive, right? So such an important piece of the puzzle, guys, right? Again, this does require the how. It does require honesty. It does require open-mindedness. It does require willingness. But if we're willing to practice this, it speaks directly to that shame piece. The shame that either says, I want to hide what's present for me, or I need to hide maybe kind of where I've gone or what's been taking place for me. And it can either serve as a preventative or a proactive measure, or it can just serve as an opportunity for us to say, hey, I don't have to carry this alone. I can share this with my brothers, and I can be supported in this. I can be supported in this work, right? So such a critical, valuable idea and concept, the concept of getting into the habit of telling on ourselves.
You know, when we put ourselves out there in the sunshine, in the sunlight, just like you said, sunshine is a disinfectant, right? Truer words were never spoken. Throwback to my dad stuff.
Yep.
We haven't done diapers in a long time, but we did cloth diapers. And one of the ways you sanitize cloth diapers after you wash them, we put them in our driveway in the sunshine.
Yep.
And they would get all white and fluffy again.
Yep.
Right? It's like being visible, bringing our, with dirty diapers, like literally bringing our shit into the sunshine.
That's it, bro. That's it, man.
Would disinfect them. And for fathers, for dads, for men, it's no different. We bring that stuff into the sunshine. And we can clean our soul.
That's it.
Matt, and where can listeners out there find more about, what it is we're talking about? How can they connect?
Okay, well, so I do want to speak to that briefly. And guys, so what I want to implore, what I want to encourage, what I want to strongly suggest for you brothers is this: find a place, right, to be a resource, to be able to tell on yourselves, to be able to have these conversations. A brother in recovery, an accountability partner. Maybe it's someone at church, if you're in a church environment where you can really, truly be honest, right? Maybe it's another 12-step recovery community like I found early on in my journey, right? Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a partner. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's with us inside the Recovered Dad community, right? I think we've got a beautiful community and a beautiful culture, right? That's uniquely shame-safe, shame-free, right? To be able to come in and do this work. But whatever it is, whether it's another community or our community, find an ally, find an advocate, find a safe place that you can lean in and be honest, be visible, either before, during, or after these incidents, which can so often lead to shame, right? If you want to check out what we're doing inside the Recovered Dad community, I want to invite you to head on over to therecovereddad.com, where you can learn more about what we're up to as a community. You can download free resources. You can find stuff on the podcast, and you can book a call with Yaden or myself. And we'd love to have a conversation with you. Maybe we just have a call and you just have an opportunity to share, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's real for me, and experience what it's like to be able to share your story in a safe place so that shame can die. And we can take a look at if what we're doing could be a potential path forward for you. Okay. Therecovereddad.com. We'd love to connect with you.
Matt, thank you, brother, for sharing, lessons from the recovery journey.
Yes, sir.
This critical skill of getting in the habit of telling on ourselves.
Yep.
Great to be with you on the podcast.
Yep.
Listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. In the meantime and in between time, keep fighting the fight, keep doing the work, and we will catch you on the next episode.
You guys, peace.
Peace. Power.
Noble men.
Noble
Thanks,
men.
guys.